Hi, this is Pim from Smart Diabetics Academy. Today I will talk a bit about how to stop heartburn and acid reflux on a keto diet. So, in this video, I will cover what may be causing your heartburn on keto, what foods you should be avoiding, and how to ease that heartburn and staying on keto. So having said that, for most people, heartburn goes away when they change to a ketogenic diet, because the foods that are most commonly causing heartburn are foods like grains and foods high in sugar. But if you have pre-existing heartburn, your heartburn might actually get worse when you change to a keto diet, and in some cases it might be a new thing that appears. But rest assured that if it's getting worse when you swap to a keto diet, it's probably going to get better within a few weeks. So one big reason that your heartburn may get worse when you start keto is that your digestive system is used to you eating in a specific way, the macronutrients, the type of foods that you're eating, and it has adapted to that. So when you change your diet very quickly overnight, no matter what the change is, whether it's to keto or something different, this may impact your digestion negatively and upset the whole stomach, etc. So apart from grains, there are other foods that people often think are safe on a keto diet that are very likely to trigger some acid reflux, and these are alcohol. You shouldn't be drinking that on a keto diet anyway. Caffeine, for example, so that's not just coffee, that could be tea as well, but coffee is usually more of a problem for most people. Medications such as aspirin, ibuprofen, there are other things as well that can cause that. So if you've just started a new medication and you get a lot more acid reflux, that might be why. Carbonated beverages can cause this, and even if they are sugar-free. So if you're just drinking carbonated water and that seems to trigger it, you might want to try and remove that. Acidic food like juices of any kind, but orange juice, pineapple juice, or tomatoes, for example, all those kind of things can absolutely trigger that as well. And then we have fried foods, especially deep fried, but even fried foods with fried rendered fats can actually upset your tummy as well if you're not used to that sort of thing. Spicy foods are quite common, so if you eat a lot of chili or that sort of thing, you might want to dial down on that for a bit and see if that helps. Garlic and onions, not usually a huge problem, but they can cause a problem in some people. Chocolate, sorry, even the dark variety, 85%, 90% with very low sugar, can cause some acid reflux. And then I wanted to add smoking to the list because it's not something that you eat, but it's something that some people do, and that alone can cause acid reflux. And then I want to mention dairy. For some people dairy is fine, for others it's not. So you just have to try that. So if any of those are in your diet or your habits, you might want to have a look at that, try to remove them and see if that helps. If it does, you know the cause. So there can obviously be a lot of other causes as well, and these usually involve your gut flora. So if acid reflux is something that is new to you on keto, it may just be that your gut flora is temporarily readjusting itself, and then your problem will be gone again. But if you had it for a while, you may want to consider things like, looking at stomach ulcers, upper digestive tract problems of other kinds of problems. And obviously you would have to go and see a doctor about those, but those can also be things that causes that. So don't rule them out if you've had acid reflux for quite some time and you're not really sure what's going on. So if you just started a keto diet and your heartburn has gotten worse, please do not panic. It usually doesn't last more than a couple of weeks maybe, and then things are usually getting better and disappearing. But there are things that you can do to help meanwhile, and most often the cause of the heartburn is too little stomach acid. In some cases it's the opposite, and you would have to figure that out. But if it's not enough stomach acid, it will help you if you eat smaller portions, so you don't gorge when you're eating. Just have a moderate serving, because the more you eat, the harder it's going to be for you to digest it if you don't have enough stomach acid. And then another thing, chew your food properly. Like, chew it twice as many times as you used to, because when you chew your food, you are starting the whole digestion process by mixing the food with your saliva that contains digestive enzymes. So this will help your stomach acid to get access to all of the molecules in the food and help it break them down easier without having to dig through layers and layers of unchewed food, because that is going to be harder to digest. And also the act of chewing sends signals to the rest of the body that food is coming, and that alone will actually help you digest the food. So if you're not chewing at all, like my dogs, they don't chew, I don't know how they digest things, but if you don't chew at all, it's going to be harder for your stomach acid to do its job, and you're going to get less enzymes helping you with the actual digestion process. So chewing is really, really important, so don't forget about that. And something that I have most of my clients do when they don't have enough stomach acid is that actually I ask them to supplement with something called Betaine Hcl and Pepsin. So this will help the production of stomach acid, and it will help you digest proteins. But we also work out a plan for how to get rid of the symptoms and then wean them off again. So don't go on these kinds of supplements permanently. They, in my opinion, should be used as help when you cannot produce enough stomach acid yourself, while we are working on the problem, trying to teach your body to actually do it on its own. So it's not a permanent solution. I don't want it to be, because it's never good to be on medications when you don't need to be on them, especially not ones that create a lot of stomach acid, etc. So we always work out the plan. So if you're going to do that, be a little bit careful. Have in mind that you want to get off of these at some point. And I can post some links in the description for where you can get your hands on these. And as I said, you can avoid acidic foods like tomatoes, oranges, all sorts of juices that might also help. And most people on keto don't drink fruit juices, but tomatoes can often find their way in there. You can try a tablespoon or two of raw apple cider vinegar with the mother, so that you know that it actually contains all the enzymes and all the goodies. And just drink that in a glass of water. If you do that a lot though, use a straw or something to protect your teeth, because it's very acidic and it can start breaking down your enamel. So some people find that adding other types of fermented foods will help. So that could be something like sauerkraut or kimchi, or maybe kefir if you're doing dairy. Just make sure that the bacteria culture in that particular food is live. So if you go to the supermarket and you buy kimchi or sauerkraut and it's on the shelf after in store in the heat, you can be almost certain that the culture is dead. But if you find it in the refrigerator, and preferably it should say live culture on it, then you know that it's actually potent. Or you can make your own. There are lots of videos on YouTube. I used to make sauerkraut, I don't really like it, but now I'm making kimchi instead, and I actually do like that, because it's a bit chili and ginger and garlic in there, so it's quite nice actually. And then don't eat when you're laying down. It might sound a bit like obvious, but a lot of the time I know what people are like. We are half laying down on the sofa, eating some snacks or whatever it is. Please don't do that, and don't eat right before bed. And with that I mean maybe 2 or even 3 hours before bed, because you will still have food in your stomach digesting that, and when you lay down you don't have gravity helping you keeping it down, so it might just kind of float up and make things worse. So don't do that, please. Another thing, when you are, especially when you go, if you just swap to a keto diet, if you are on a low sodium diet because you have high blood pressure or whatever it might be, consider upping your salt intake, at least for a few weeks. If you don't have enough salt, the production of stomach acid will go down and it will be harder for you to digest food. And also when you change from a higher carb diet to a lower carb diet, what's going to happen is that your kidneys will flush out a lot of salt. So anyone doing that will be salt deficient pretty much, and that is part of what is causing all of these problems with the keto flow. So don't be scared of upping your salt intake, maybe double it. Just get more salt in your diet, especially in the beginning if you just started keto. And if you know that your problem is related to too much stomach acid, you can actually just take a teaspoon of sodium bicarbonate or baking soda. I just put that in a glass of water and drink it, and that should be helping. But if you don't have enough stomach acid, which is the most common thing, this is not good at all. So make sure that you know what the problem is. But most importantly, just keep tracking what sort of foods that you're eating, so that you can figure out what it is that is causing the problem, because most likely not all foods are going to cause this problem. I do have clients who literally react to everything, but there is still a scale. To some foods they might be up on a scale from 1 to 10, they might be on a 3, for other foods they might jump up to a 7. So you can remove those big offenders, and then you can start working with the foods that don't seem to upset you too much. And one more thing. If you're only getting this when you are eating a lot of fat, you might have to cut back on fat for a little bit and slowly increase the amount of fats that you are eating. You can try to supplement with ox bile, for example, and I'll try to find a link and I'll post that as well in the description, because ox bile will help you digest those fats. So if you've been on a very low fat diet, for example, for a very long time, it might take your body a little while to keep working up to the amount of bile that you need and start digesting the fats the way that you should be doing. So it will all come with time, but when you're just swapping from one type of diet to another one and do it very quickly, your body might not actually respond as quickly. So that's that. Right, so if you're suffering from heartburn on the keto diet, I do recommend that you try or take all of these things into consideration and try to eliminate those foods that may be big offenders and just see what's happening. And you might have to, cut back on a few things and not go full out keto straight away and just take it slow, and that's fine. But the most important thing is that you can identify what foods are actually causing this, and so that you can get it under control, and then you can just work yourself up from there. And if you still can't get a handle on this, if you think you have tried everything and nothing is working, I do occasional consults with people where I help with things like this. So if you are interested in that, you can just shoot me a message on pim@smarterdiabeticsacademy.com and we can figure something out. So thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please do give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel, and then don't forget to click the little bell icon down there so that you will get notified the next time I upload a new video, and I will see you there. Bye!